Hi, I'm Tori Quisling with the Center for Clairvoyant and Psychic Development. Uh, I'm doing a Friday Facebook Live to help healers know what to do to help others right now with some psychic tools. What I've noticed is that we're going through so many changes that many people are feeling insecure, overwhelmed, frazzled, not sure what to do next. And if you're a healer, which means that you take care of so many others, then if you're feeling frazzled, you're also experiencing the other people that you're helping and their feelings of insecurity. So, I'd like to talk about the tool that I teach, which is grounding. It's a very important tool. It's one of the first things you learn when you understand that you are a spirit in a body, having one of these physical experiences that we're having. And so, I always ask the question, who are you grounding through? Who or what do you ground through? So, where do you find your security? What person do you rely on? Or what place do you rely on? Often we ground through our routines, things being the same every day, driving to work, having the same routine with coffee and our physical routine. Or sometimes we ground through the building that we go to. Sometimes we love to be able to go to a certain restaurant. I love Starbucks. I'll go to Starbucks. So there's a lot of things that we're used to doing that brings us security just through our habits and the places and the people that we rely on, that we just unconsciously, we say ground through. And again, I'm speaking to healers and I'm speaking to people that are very spiritual, powerful people on this live broadcast here. And uh, so that means that people are grounding through you. When they're thinking about who they ground through, they're thinking about you. So as a healer, it's important that you stay grounded for all the other people. And also to recognize that now is a good time to find your own grounding. Well, hello, everybody. I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to have you just take a minute and I'd like you to find the base of your spine. And we ground from our root chakra, which is at the base of our spine. It's really what you're sitting on. Most of us are sitting down right now, but you can ground standing up too. But just notice the base of your spine. And you're going to notice that gravity is always pulling on us. Thank goodness. Our security actually comes from gravity, not other people, bank accounts, the job. Our security doesn't come from any of those things. Our security comes from a relationship to this planet Earth, our body feeling secure. And so gravity is always available to us. And so we want to imagine that we have a tether, we have an actual connection that we can consciously think about from the base of the spine right to the center of the earth. I like to think of trees. I'm on Long Island. There's trees everywhere, and trees are a fantastic example of what we look like when we're grounded. So think about yourself as a tree. We even call our middle of our body the trunk. So from the base of your spine, you're going to imagine there's a long hollow cord or a continuation of a hollow tree, if you want to just be the tree, all the way down to the center of the planet Earth, which is where all the gravity is, what you can imagine. And just feel that pull of gravity. And it's a hollow cord, so it's like a vacuum hose. And just imagine, and we smile to do it at the same time because it tells the body to let go. If we're serious, we can't let go. And you want to become a grounded person because the more grounded you are and you recognize that your security comes from being connected to the center of the earth, the less reactive you are, the less codependent, the less overwhelmed. Think about your body as an energetic and electrical um, entity, your physical body. It's constantly absorbing our environment. Hey, Val, it's constantly absorbing our environment and amplifying it. And our environment includes electricity, it includes other people's energies and thoughts, really. And in the electrical business, an electrician is going to think about grounding something. So think about your physical body as an electrical entity here that you're interacting with as a spirit, as your consciousness, and you want your body to feel grounded. So keep thinking about that grounding cord. It's connected to the base of your spine or your root chakra, right down to the center of the earth. Long, long, hollow cord connecting you to the center of the earth. It's a release valve. It's a place for all this wayward electricity to get sucked down and organized. Just think of your body as being securely tethered to the center of the earth. And what happens when you're a grounded person, is that you become responsive rather than reactive. New information comes to you or somebody tells you something terrible, you're grounded. So you're responsive. You respond. You don't react. Your body can relax. Your security doesn't come from something outside of your body. Your security comes from your connection to this planet Earth. And we can definitely rely on the planet Earth. Hello, everybody. Michael, Val, Mindy, Paramisawar, if I said that right. Welcome. Thank you for listening in today. So my question, and as a psychic, as a clairvoyant, and what I teach, is that not only are we finding grounding for ourself to make ourselves feel secure, and we have a mantra that your security does not come from any person on the planet Earth. Your security doesn't come from government. It doesn't come from the school. It doesn't come from your bank account, from the building that you go to work in, your house you're in, your relationship. Your security comes from your connection from the base of your spine to the center of the planet Earth. You're a grounded person. And once you get that, you can be calm, you can relax. All this electrical energy that seems to have nowhere to go is all of a sudden channeled straight down to the center of the earth and released. And then as a healer, and I'm addressing all the healers today, all the other people that are grounding through you can then be released as well. You don't have to handle all their energy because you're grounded, you're not reacting. Now, when we talk about what do you ground through, that's really when I do a reading for you, that's really what I'm looking at. Like, what are you grounding through? What is the world that you're in? What part of the world you're in gives you security? And who's grounding through you? Who are you managing? Who are you giving security to? It's like everybody's energy is in everybody else's space, and we lack creativity. We're tired, we're drained, we're not organized with our own life force. So a clairvoyant reading is really a nice energetic profile of where you're losing energy, where you are codependent, depending on something else to be okay, for you to be okay. So really it's about unplugging from all the things that you're grounding through and realizing that you are self-sufficient. What's really interesting about our situation in this lockdown, hey Lauren, is that we are being forced to lose all of our grounding cords that we ground through. So some people take the train every day to Penn Station. We don't get to go there anymore. Penn Station, we don't see it. Like I said, Starbucks, I checked in with Starbucks once a day. These places and situations, even our work, our job, the conversations we have every day, those are all things we've been grounding through. And so we might notice the people around us are extra needy or feeling insecure, and it's because what they ground through has been lost and they're not sure what to ground through. So what we do for children and animals, we can give them a grounding cord. We can imagine them being grounded, but for other adults, we have to demonstrate being grounded, and that helps them ground because they're going to say, I want what she's got. She's so secure and relaxed and calm and responsive. I want that. And so they'll match you. So we really want to become self-sufficient with our own security and who we are and stand tall, just like the trees. I love images of trees for this because the trees, they stretch up and they continue to grow and they grow big and they grow wide up into the sky, and they're sturdy and stable, and they know that their security comes from their roots, comes from the earth. And so that's really a good model for us to think about. And each day, every time you feel overwhelmed, just say, ooh, I'm ungrounded. Use that term instead of overwhelmed. Just say, ooh, I'm ungrounded. Let me remember that I'm grounded. Once you have a grounding cord, it's there forever. So just remember that you're grounded and make the grounding cord nice and wide as the chair you're sitting in, so you can really let go of anything in your body that's not yours. Remember, the body's like a sponge, absorbs people, absorbs conversations, fears, images. Just let it, electricity, just let it all go down the grounding cord. Let yourself be grounded. Uh, Wonderful. So good to see everybody signing on in the afternoon on a Friday. Um, does anybody have a question? And today's theme is really who are you grounding through? And knowing that your grounding comes from the earth, not from the people and relationships. So they can all change because they do, they're temporary. But the planet Earth that we're on changes very slowly and it's enormous. And so I feel very secure trusting that the planet Earth is where my security comes from. And I have to remind myself all the time we have to reground, we have to ground ourselves and stay calm and responsive. Uh, oh, hey, Amy. Glad that you're here too. Let's see. Does anybody have a question about grounding or just a question? And I'll put it in relationship to grounding. So, because remember, an energetic check or a reading is really to see where you've been grounding through, or somebody grounding through you that you think is your problem. And it's really another person's problem. If you have young kids, of course they're going to be grounding through you. Um, let's see, Mindy asks, how do you know if you're not grounded? Well, you're going to have a feeling in your body of being overwhelmed. You're going to have a feeling of codependency, like something can't change or I'm not okay. So we want to, if we're grounded, that means that we just respond to situations. We don't overreact. We don't have a reactivity. And we also notice that we have a separation from the situation. We feel like we are separate from it. Our security does not depend on that situation. And um, Mindy, it's you're already a grounded person, but I notice that when you start to feel that kind of buzz and that kind of feeling where you can't get um, settled and you're feeling overwhelmed, it looks like you have a few people plugged in. Now, when people are grounded, grounding through us, that means that they plugged into us and they rely on us to feel secure. It's kind of like when I talk about, I always think of the school secretary. I was a teacher for many years, and the poor school secretary in the principal's office was like the mainmast of a ship. She was plugged into the principal, plugged into the parents calling in, plugged into the teachers, plugged into the students, sometimes the nurse too. She'd bandage people. The school nurse is like the main mast in the middle of all the attention. So that's an example, an extreme example of someone being plugged in for everyone's security. Like if she was absent, the whole school could barely run without the school secretary. So think about this. Are you in the center of those things? And Mindy, it looks like you take on a lot of other people's, you take responsibility for it, a lot of other people. And so you're going to feel ungrounded, but people see you as grounded. So when you unplug all those people, you think about, wow, who's grounding through me? And Mindy, it looks like you have a daughter and then even another child, younger, like a grandchild or a small child. Your daughter looks older, and then you have a small child. They're all plugging through you, and it's really nice to just be aware of it and then find your own grounding. And Valerie, is it a good practice to ground yourself every morning? Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, usually we ground through our routines, like a cup of coffee and a shower, or whatever our routines are. So if our routines have to change, you want to have a grounding that's separate from that. You want to have your own personal grounding separate from routines and people and situations so that when those change, you're still grounded. Grounding also allows you to create boundaries because a grounded person doesn't have to react when somebody needs you. So if someone says, Valerie, do this now, you can stay grounded and respond and say, I'll do it in about 15 minutes. You don't have to jump when somebody says do it. And when we talk about grounding, we do talk about cords. So we have our own personal grounding cord, which is nice and wide and flexible, and it's connected to our root chakra into the center of the earth. It's personal, private security. It's like an anchor and a tether or a tether. Um, when we talk about other people grounding through us, then that's like cords coming into you where you have to drop everything if they need something because it's so urgent. So we want to be aware of that neediness and codependency as grounding through each other. And so you just gently unplug people and create your own boundaries. That's what tends to happen as we learn. Kristen, great. If another adult is grounding through you and you try to remove it, is it disruptive for them? Well, it will be. You're reworking the program, you're reworking the rules between you and the other person. If the other person is used to you always being there for them, being secure, which means is if you change or grow or develop a new personality for yourself, the other person could be upset too. They need you to stay the same, so they always feel safe. So you gently release them down your grounding cord, that person, and know that they're getting their energy back, and stay calm and responsive and loving. But yes, they will have to, the person that's been grounding through you will have to find their own grounding. I like to picture for the person that's grounding through me or through my client, a place that they enjoy. Like, I know we're in this quarantine, but some people like the mall, they like the movie theater, they like places. So imagine, so right now the home, or something, a routine even, have them ground through something like that, plug from you. Um, so you can be gentle about it, unplug them from you so they're not grounding through you anymore, and visualize them plugging through something else, ideally straight into the earth. um, and Marilyn, can you please talk about grounding a child? Okay. Okay. Mine wants to sleep with me every night since quarantine. Thanks. Okay. Yes. Well, children, and I know your children are like elementary age, they're automatically going to be grounded through us. And so what children ground through us, because they are reliant on us, they are absolutely, um, their security is through us. So here's the thing, as an adult and child, is whatever you're feeling in your body, because they're grounding through you, they're essentially channeling through you, so they're feeling whatever you're feeling. So Marilyn, the more that you ground and you imagine security and calm, and that your vibration is at, we talked about 10,000 watts of light, high frequency, it overcomes any of this fear. Your child will match that at the same time and feel that with you, feel your security. So when you say to him, hey, you are safe, we're completely safe, and you come from a place of absolute security, um, and then allow him to ground into the center of the earth. Give him a grounding cord into the center of the earth, but you can also assign a pillow or a chair, well, for bedtime, a pillow or a toy as a grounding trigger. So you can play with it, and I know you can talk to your boys about energy because you've been doing that, Marilyn. So you can let them know what you're thinking about this, but really they're responding to your fear. And because you're a healer, Marilyn, you may be taking on your family's fear, you may be taking on your client's fears. So you want to clear those out. Just imagine they're like plugs in a wall. Just unplug them from yourself, and it looks like all in your lower chakras you've been, emotional centers, you've been healing people. Good. Mindy, you ground 8 people daily. Okay. Now, if these are adults, Mindy, then you definitely want to imagine plugging them, replugging them in to something that they would feel secure with. And I mean, center of the earth is great. It might be a big concept for some of these 8 people that are grounding through you, but have them ground through something that they enjoy. I mean, golf or something. Just ground through something they enjoy. And I know we're in quarantine, so it's really interesting to not have places to go where people can get their security. So they're kind of grabbing at people, and our bodies can't handle other people's need for security unless they're a child. Once they're adults, independent adults, then it becomes a lot for our bodies. Um, Amy, I often feel things, so how can you tell if it's yours or others' feelings? Well, that's a really good question. The more grounded you are, the more that you are calling your spirit back to your body, and the beauty of grounding is you're releasing foreign energy out of your body at the same time, making space for your own spirit. So just know, you just use your confidence and certainty that what you're feeling, if it feels like it's uncomfortable in your body, or it feels like it's an unsolvable problem, then it's most likely somebody else. uh, and that's a, kind of a, let's see, I often feel things, so how can you tell if it's yours or others feeling? So if you have a feeling that's uncomfortable, Amy, just imagine your grounding cord. It's like turning on a Dyson vacuum, that's a Hoover, whatever its strong vacuum is, it's gravity. So just turn it on deep carpet mode and just let it go and smile, let it go. And it wasn't yours. If the feeling is still there, but it feels good, it feels hopeful, then it's yours. Um, Good, Marilyn. Yes, and I have more tips about children. I have on my blog, on my website, toriquisling.com, about spiritual parenting. And next Thursday at 1 o'clock on Zoom, I have a workshop on children and spiritual parenting. And so in the workshop, I have a lot of things to reveal about energy and children and parenting, even if your kids are grown up. Or you're calling in a baby, talking about that relationship, how that works, parent and child, and then all the questions can come in, and within the workshop, then you can ask real specific ones. Good. Ah, okay, Mindy. So 3 are kids. Yeah. So those are the ones that you imagine yourself as, like I say to parents, you're like a kangaroo with the pocket, or a koala. You've got kids, you've got to manage them, they're in your body. So that's part of it. But it's the adults that we're trying to give the security to, that are overwhelming to us. But children, our bodies can do it, but we just have to stay organized, stay grounded for ourselves, and stay confident and secure, because those children are feeling whatever we're feeling. And I know it's a hassle. It's like, why do they have to feel everything we're feeling? It just is. When I was a teacher in a classroom and I had 26 kids, if I wasn't in a good mood, the whole class wasn't in a good mood. So I had to get into a good mood, uh, ground myself, find my space, be amused, let go of anything that was going on at home or whatever, and just to have a good day, because the kids ground through us and feel whatever we're feeling. So you can say all you want that they're safe and secure, but they will know, because they ground through you, they will feel that lack of security if you're not feeling secure. So learning about grounding is very powerful, and I teach this in my classes, in readings. I help you with it. But it is good to know, especially in a reading, how much energy you're giving away and what could block you from grounding yourself. So right now, just in the moment, keep it simple and just know that you're already connected to the center of the earth from the base of your spine, and it's working. Just know that it's working, and you're letting go of anything in your body that's not yours. So you're making room for your own spirit. Imagine a gold sun filling you up. That's your own light. Good. Any other questions? Such great questions from everybody. And if you had, let's see if I see any more. Good. Um, and if you have a specific question, you can also ask a specific question as well. But these are great questions about grounding. Um, let's see if there was any other notes. We are in a growth period for humanity. In the spirit world, we call it a growth period, where there's the cognitive dissonance, right? In the other psychology world, where there is a real stretch going on between our old world and this new world, and grounding is what we need. So. Hug a tree, go out and stand next to a tree, look at a tree, look at pictures of a tree. Um, I like to use essential oils that come from trees, so pine and hinoki and eucalyptus, anything that feels strengthening, sandalwood, so that you can get grounded in the midst of this growth period that's going on. It's kind of like holding steady uh, during the storm. And it helps you release all this pent up overwhelm that can get into your body. Great. Any other questions? And sometimes I'm not sure if I see all the questions on my screen. So if I miss your question, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Good. So those are a lot of good questions. So just take a deep breath and just relax into your seat and notice that your root chakra, right in front of the base of your spine, has a long hollow cord attached, and the other end is in the center of the planet Earth. So it's hollow and wide. So anything in your body that feels uncomfortable is just simply being released. Just think of it like a vacuum hose, just with no effort at all being released. And then that'll help you be responsive and calm so that your body doesn't have to take on other people's energies. And just as a summary, if you have children, young children, they're also going to feel calm and grounded when you're calm and grounded because young children ground through you. Other adults, on the other hand, when they ground through you, they're more like demanding security from you. So, other adults, you can unplug them and plug them into something that gives them security. You know, their favorite necklace or something. Usually I'd say the gym or the mall or the sports arena, but we can think of those buildings to ground through, but just imagine them grounding, finding their own sense of connection to this earth and this life experience, then other than through your body, because our bodies usually get overwhelmed very quickly. And like I said, if we've made an agreement to have a child, then we've also our bodies also said, okay, we'll let that child or those children come in. Okay. Um, let's see, Mindy. Oh, how many times a day should you ground? Well, it's pretty much a consistent thing to do. It's your life, so it's not like a weekend thing. It's all the time. So you're going to notice when your intention is to always be grounded. And I tell my students when we first start and you learn about grounding, it's the first tool we learn besides amusement. We walk through a lot of doorways every day. So every time you walk through a doorway, just imagine I'm grounded above your head. I'm grounded. You're going to get more confidence being grounded. When someone starts to tell you something, ooh, wait, they're talking to me. Let me ground. I'm going to turn on the news. Let me remember my connection to the earth, my release valve. My body can release. I can hear some information, but I don't have to react. I can just let it go. I don't have to take it on because my security doesn't depend on what that news is. It doesn't depend on that phone call. It doesn't depend on that person's mood. I am grounded, which is separate security from everything else. And so it really can be something that you repeat to yourself like a mantra. I'm grounded, kind of like a Louise Hay thing. I'm grounded, therefore I respond rather than react. I'm grounded, therefore the children connected through me are also feeling grounded. Because some of us as healers, we'll only do it for ourselves if it's really helping other people, because that's what healers do. So you might be motivated to ground yourself knowing that this is going to help the kids that are grounding through me. So your security comes from the planet Earth. How amazing is that? The planet Earth is immense and it's here for billions of years, trillions of years. We are connected through this earth. All the animals in nature trust the earth over their external environments. They know they're grounded, the earth provides. So let's go back to nature, especially during this time, because we see how temporary everything really is. It's like trying to save remember your parking space in a big lot by noticing the car next to your car. You know that car could move. We can't ground through something that's temporary, and everything in our life is, except for this planet Earth. And then further, as you learn tools with me, we learn that we're connected to the God force, the universe above us. And so we're suspended between the two. And those are where our security and our faith and our power comes from. And we want to stay powerful during this time. Yeah, so Mindy, great question. How many times should you ground? All the time. Remind yourself, like a mantra. I'm grounded, therefore I respond rather than react. And so you will probably at first find yourself being reactive and overwhelmed and uncomfortable and then go backwards. Oops, I'm ungrounded. Smile at yourself, be okay with it, and then ground. You'll start to, at first, usually when we learn something, we learn backwards. Like we are doing something, or wait, that's not what I want. I want to be grounded. So you have to come back from being ungrounded. But if your language turns into I'm grounded, I'm ungrounded, she's grounded, he's ungrounded, now your language is all around being grounded. And you start to realize, oh, that's what that means. Good. Let's see. Yeah, Amy, we all should be on the grounding potty all day, as you say. You're welcome. And Amy mentions, she calls it the grounding potty, but I have to say, I had a student in a class and we were all in the group practicing grounding, and I would picture a tree underneath you, a wide trunk of a tree that's hollow and right down to the center of the earth and sturdy and stable. And she bought a new house and it had to be fixed up. And the basement toilet, when they opened it up, there was a tree growing inside the toilet, because we talk about like pulling a flush, an old-fashioned toilet flush to release down the grounding cord. And in the toilet in her basement in her new house they were fixing up had a tree growing up out of it. It was the funniest story for our class. Made a lot of sense. We love in our psychic clairvoyant classes to have images come up in the world that we've been seeing on our reading screens. So yes, we have to be grounded. It is something that we do constantly. It's a practice of being grounded. I wish we could set it and forget it for real, but we have to keep reminding ourselves. In the psychic world, we say, bring your grounding into present time. Well, I grounded myself this morning and now it's 5 o'clock. Bring your grounding into present time. It's from 10 a.m. Let's bring the grounding cord. Imagine the time on the side says now. Just bring yourself into present time, and your body's been grounded, but you want to ground it all the way to now. So all the things that are happening now can be released. We can ground our house, we can ground our car, we can ground things, our purse. When you ground the house, picture a beautiful gold sun around your house, and picture a beautiful tree or a grounding cord right in the center, like a vortex of your house, and it's plugged into the center of the earth, so it's pulling to it anything that would be uncomfortable or not of the light. Just let it release all the darkness out of your house, all the conflict, and your house can be grounded. I like to use the fireplace. That's often in the middle of the house and it comes from the outside down. If you don't have a fireplace or a vortex naturally in the house, just visualize one and really set the grounding for your house and your space. At your workspace, you can do a phone call, you can ground, picture a grounding cord. You can put a grounding cord on anything. Like I said, you can try to ground another adult, but sometimes their MO, their personality is about being ungrounded. So you demonstrate and you imagine them giving them a grounding cord to something other than you, your body. Okay, that's adults I'm talking about. Good. Awesome. Okay. Any other questions or comments? It's great to have people participate on the Facebook Live. Yes, Lauren. Need to send a couple coworkers down the court all day, every day. Yes, that is really important. And then going out to be with the trees, absolutely. I've got a bunch right out here that I'm going to go say. When you have people that you work with, they plug into you for security and you can feel it. It's like a neediness, it's a codependency, it's a edginess, and you're like, this is not me. I'm more calm than this. So what's nice is you can unplug them, just feel where in your body they plug in, and that's you. You have an outlet, you let them plug in. Might be the heart, the stomach, below your navel. Just unplug them and then just release and imagine you've got this big vacuum hose underneath you, or sometimes you can think of a big hydraulic waterfall underneath you, so everything can just whatever you want to visualize that's soothing and healing, to let it go. And then once you're grounded, you're this calm, secure, responsive person. So you can hear the weirdest news in the world, which we're hearing constantly, and you find your amusement and you ground and you say, whoa, that's interesting, but you don't have to react or go into it. Now, I have been reacting, I have to admit, and I've had to remember, oh yeah, I'm a grounded person. So I need to back up, be an observer, be grounded, not take it into my body, let it go, because my security doesn't come from the way our government works or the way that we have to wear face masks now, all that kind of stuff. My security doesn't come from what I'm used to or the places and the people and the situations. It comes from my connection to the earth. So uh, let's go out to those trees and remember. And nature has its own frequency and it matches our physical body. And it's so easy to ground when you're in nature. And I'm lucky to be in Long Island, so I'm surrounded by trees and nature. If you're in the city, then maybe go around the park nearby if you can, or a plant in your house, or animals. Animals are great. We can ground them, and then they're just in their nice frequency of healing. Let's see, Kristen, is there a difference in how it feels if it's a friend, romantic partner, coworker, or just feeling drained generally? Well, we want to invite a romantic partner in to plug in, but we call it codependent when you can't let that person be in a bad mood, or you can't let that person be um, to change or to grow, because then you're feeling insecure. So you want to just check in with a romantic partner and just say, okay, we can be together intimate, but we each have our own personal grounding cord. So I can be a witness to your growth and you can be a witness support to my growth. Yeah, but I think any cord from another adult is going to be draining. And so checking your own grounding cord, and just by sitting for even 5 minutes, set a timer, 5 6 minutes, and just imagine a grounding cord. And some people like the big hydraulic waterfall that you're sitting on top of. Just let it all go down. Let everything in your body that feels uncomfortable drain out. Go. People, they go down, but just know whatever you send down the grounding cord is going back to source. So what I noticed when I first did this when I was in my 20s is that my family and my friends all started to get more creative, start to have more things, because I was sending their energy back to them. So they were getting their own energy. Other people's energy in your space does not work. It's not the right fuel. We think we need to be in each other's space to show love and intimacy and caring, but it actually drains each other. So we want to be grounded, release everybody else's energy, and imagine a gold sun of our own energy coming in. That's what we want to do. Okay. Ah, okay, Lauren, good. You're calm and grounded. Good. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. I know you know a lot of these tools of grounding. There's a great tool, like if you sit as a yogini, like you're into yoga and you sit straight on the floor, but not with your feet on the floor, you can create a triangle from your root chakra to each knee. Make a triangle so you have a big grounding if you're just sitting right on your bottom, just right down into the center of the earth so you can really feel that release. It's all about release. It's like downward arrows, release going down to the center of the earth. Good. Wonderful. Good to see. Everyone's got some great questions and comments about grounding, but it's very important right now to do that. And like I said, you can ground your kids and your animals and your house, and so your spaces and your things, the roadway, your car. Other adults, you just want to unplug them, give them hopefully the earth to ground through, but something else to ground through, not you. Just give yourself some boundaries. Um, Young kids are going to ground through you because it's what they have to do. Their security is dependent on you. So it is important to ground because they're going to feel whatever you're feeling because they are channeling through you. They're feeling everything you're feeling. So it's good. Yeah, Jessica, a triangle. And I know you're into yoga, so you make that nice triangle in that you sit in that position, and make it like a really strong triangle connection, grounding cord right into the center of the earth, and just release out of your body all the way down. Yeah. Um, Grounding is one of these ancient tools. All the tools I teach are ancient tools that I just basically, when people join my classes, they know they're an old soul, and I'm reminding them of these tools. It's not like it's for the first time you get these tools. It's you're being reminded, and it's like, oh yeah, grounding, that's important. And at first, our world doesn't like us to be grounded. It would rather have us in fear and spinning around and ungrounded. It's a world that wants us ungrounded, because the more ungrounded you are, the more reactive you are, the more fear, the more you can't think things through, and you can't be calm and see what's what. So the more grounded you are, the more protected you are, and the more aware and awake you are. And this is an important time on the planet to be awake and stay observing, being aware and awake. Definitely. Awesome. Thanks, Amy. I'm always glad to have your energy in the classes and all over here with me. I appreciate you so much. Um, Good. Anybody else have a question? Um, so I feel it's so important to talk about grounding. So thank you so much for joining me on Facebook Live. You grounding through. Now you're grounding into the center of the earth and unplugging adults out of your space. And we're all in a growth period, so we're here to honor each other's path and to heal each other, remind each other about the tools, and be the best we can be for each other. And as adults, have separate grounding, have your own security, so we can all grow in the ways we need to grow during this very unprecedented situation that we're all finding ourselves in. But just know that if you're here in 2020, when this is going on, and we are here, I'm speaking to people in bodies that are here, you are meant to be here. You are meant to be here witnessing this, bringing your light to what's going on, and staying awake and staying connected to whatever truth it comes out. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, and stay healthy and use the tools. And um, you can always contact me. And I have workshops too next week. Mediumship on Tuesday night at 7, and we're doing children and spiritual parenting next Thursday afternoon. So it's all for all of us. So join the conversation. You can register through my website, toriquisling.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day and weekend.